Are you ready, Carl?
Is it time
I'm going to say the famous words.
Go on.
Carl.
Yes.
What's upset you this week?
Well, I say we do go to some glamorous places.
We do.
And every now and then you get something that's a little bit special.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, you think it's going to be a little bit special.
Oh.
And last weekend I was invited to go and entertain at the Formula One British Grand Prix.
Carl.
That sounds cool, doesn't it? But there's different aspects of working at the Grand Prix. You could be in the posh areas, where some people I know were
you in
with
the
all
car
the celebrities, and well, sort of. We were in the street zone. The street zone. I think we were in the overspill.
Is that the fancy name for the curb? Were you on the curb?
Well, it was a different concept of being posh. I was working with some ultra talented people who were like street artists and sideshow artists, and we had a big stage. And I'll put some pictures of this on the Facebook. And you call it the Facebook, is that right? Put it on the Facebook.
Call it whatever you want.
So what we didn't really account for was the fact it was going to be about 100 degrees.
Yeah, hotter than the sun at the moment.
It was really concrete floors just burning up, and we had to be on site round about 6:45 every morning.
AM?
Yeah, there's two of them in a day, you know.
Well, the reason I got into entertainment is because I don't do well in the morning.
Well, we did. And do you know what? Everybody bought into it, because you did have to be on by then, because that's just the way it works. And so you want everyone to make everything as simple as possible for you. But they don't do that. You need passes for this, passes for that, to get to anywhere. So even to get the van in, to get the stage set up, absolute nightmare. You had to have the right passes to leave the van where you wanted to be able to get changed in it, or just leave some stuff in it, because some of the lads had...
Hang on a minute. Just because people are going to think that we have a glamorous job, and you've just flown past the little thing there. Get changed in a van.
Well, we put the biz in showbiz, don't we? We do. And it wasn't my van, by the way. Normally, I at least have a toilet to get changed in. So it was. We were doing street theatre and street magic, which is quite cool to do, unless it's not cool. And it really was. There was no shade. This street zone, there was no shade. But one of my annoyances of the week, because no one knows what the weather's going to be like, and that was nobody's fault. But there was no foresight in the organisers giving us somewhere to change, and all right, we don't need white lilies in a dressing room or anything like that.
You don't have a rider, so you're not having...
No, there was. But do you know what they gave us? We did have a tap. So we had water. We had free running water.
Did you say tap or tab?
No,
you didn't have a tab at the bar.
Didn't have a tab. No, I've just got to say, £7.10 for a burger. How does that happen?
£7.10.
£7.10 for a burger, and guess how much a pasty was?
I'd hate that.
£6 for a pasty. Cornish pasty. £6.
£6 for a Cornish pasty. How big was it? Was it the size of a pizza?
Big as your head. No, it was just a normal Cornish pasty. But they've got you. But the other thing is, it would, like I say, it was about 100 degrees.
Yeah.
So this isn't what annoyed me. That was the job. So you think everyone would work together, but I very quickly realised that there was a lot of chiefs and a lot of Indians, I suppose. But what I found out was that the more lanyards you had round your neck, the more important you were. And if you had a high vis jacket on, you were really important. And a high vis jacket with supervisor on the back, then you're really important. And what your job is to find something wrong, whether it's wrong or not. So I don't think I've told you this, have I? So,
No.
So we're on site, and we've got a pass to have one van on site near our stage.
Okay.
So we can keep things like knives and daggers and fuel in there, because that's what some of the street artists were using. Things
Right,
that
okay.
was quite unsafe, really.
Yeah.
And we'd had all that passed by the hierarchy before we went on. They knew exactly what they're doing. But there was one young lady decided we didn't have the right pass in our van on the second day.
For all your equipment
For
that
everything.
you need.
Can you get it off site? So we're like, well, no, really, we can't get it off site.
Right.
And so, because I'm on the front line, I end up the one who has to deal with this lady. And you just want to be nice to everybody, because you're going to be there for 3 days, and you just want everything to go smoothly. And
Right.
it's so hot, you just don't want to get upset with anybody. We've got no shelter. The only shelter you can get is either in the van or under the stands. We were on Beckett's Corner, if anyone knows. If anyone knows the course. But this woman was adamant we had to move the van. So I had to get in touch with the people that I got in touch with.
Yeah.
And I got them talking to each other. And she said, you've got the wrong pass. You're not allowed on site. You must take it off. And when this van goes off, it can't come back on tomorrow.
Right, okay.
So I had to take the stance. Please just go away and sort it out for us.
Yeah.
So to cut a very long story short,
Oh, that was the short story.
this is the short version.
Right, okay.
She comes back. So she must have spent a day and a half, because she got annoyed with us on the first day.
And you were only there for 3 days.
There for 3 days. So she spent a day and a half of her time of being a supervisor trying to get our van off site.
Right.
And in the end came to us and said, what we're going to do is this. You use the pass that's in your van,
Yeah.
and what you do is you can keep it exactly where it is, and if another van comes on, it parks exactly where that one is. And then what you do is you keep everything as it is now. And are you okay with that?
So she spent a day and a half doing absolutely nothing to leave everything the same.
To leave. And I had to look her straight in the face and say, thank you so much for sorting that out for me.
Well, you see, you know what you need to do. You need to get some high-vis vest printed up.
Yeah, for
with
next year.
Supervisor, event organizer. You need all them things. So when you see them, you just go put it on and go, yeah, give them the nod. And then they'll leave you alone. You'll be fine.
But do you know what? We had such a ball. It was. But the other thing, so it was a cool thing doing. I've never been to the Grand Prix before.
No.
So
no,
got
neither
to
have I.
got to see, felt the atmosphere. Got to see the cars.
Did you
got
see
to
much
how
of the
it was.
racing?
Yeah, got to see some of the
Right,
racing.
okay.
Because when the racing's on, believe it or not, when people have paid that much for a ticket, they actually go and watch it.
Yes.
So the street zones and everywhere like that do empty. So they even put the football on. They put the football on as well.
Oh, right,
Because
okay.
England were playing.
Yeah.
And so that was great, because we didn't have to do anything. We just watched people watching football.
Bit like the gig we did the other night together.
It was. I'm going to come on to that.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Going to perform.
that very air conditioned gig that we did.
Yes.
But before we go on to that, and I have put this on the Facebook.
The Facebook.
I got a little bit worried about Silverstone,
Why did you get worried?
because when I was walking in on the first morning,
Yeah.
and I've put this picture on the Facebook,
Okay.
is the fact that there's a big poster, a big just a big message over the track,
Okay.
and it says.
So the drivers see this as
So
they're
the
going-
drivers, as they're going under, it's like a warning for the drivers
Okay.
as they go under it, coming up to Beckett's Corner,
Yeah.
which is where we were. I think I mentioned that.
Yeah.
And it says, when driving, do not drink alcohol.
It's a very important message, Carl.
Now, it's a very important message, but I think those racing drivers know that when you're driving at 250 mile an hour around corners, they shouldn't be drinking before they go on that track.
No, because they're going to spill it, aren't they?
You had to really. There's nobody else is looking at that other than the drivers.
Right. Okay.
Or if you walk past it first thing in the morning. It was, and if you don't believe me, I've not made it up. I've put a picture on the Facebook. So have a look at that. It's Confessions from the Back Seat on Facebook. You'll find it. But yeah, that was, and that gig we did.
I know. Carl, I left that gig about a stone lighter. The amount of sweat.
Well,
and he wasn't for working hard.
We didn't work that hard.
We didn't work that hard. No, we didn't.
Well, it was the most boring football game in the world, wasn't it? It was Belgium and England when they were playing. So it gives you an idea when people can work out when that was.
Yeah.
And
the 28th.
And the room was 90% blokes, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So they all wanted to watch the football.
Yeah.
Which meant that they didn't really want to watch Magic.
No.
But they'd forgot to put the air conditioning on.
I think what they were doing is because they'd organised a big screen, I think they'd worked out that the amount of electricity they would power in this big screen, they'd save that by switching the aircon off.
I know.
Before we carry on, Carl, I'm going to just mention it. I don't know whether people are going to be able to hear it, but it's a very lovely day. We've got some windows open. We've tried to keep all the noise in, but one of my bugbears, I don't know whether we mentioned it on the last one. I moved house recently.
We've not mentioned where we are, have we?
No, we're in my new house, and we're out in the middle of nowhere. We're in the sticks, and I moved here for a quiet life, live in the countryside, and the day I move in, the neighbours across the road have decided to put an extension up. So I bought this beautiful house in the middle of nowhere, and I open a window and I hear grinders and I hear diggers.
I thought Grinder was something else.
Yeah, that's the app. You don't want the app. So if you can hear a bit of noise in the background, we apologise, but it's just, if we have all the windows shut, we will be melting.
I just thought you had a logging company next door. It was like a constant soaring.
Do you know, the first day we moved in, I'm sat here, we'd unpacked all the boxes. My other half had gone to work, the little one had gone to nursery. It was my first day of peace and quiet. I was going to sit in the garden, and then it starts.
Yeah, welcome to the country.
Oh.
Do you remember you had more than the sound of singing birds?
Yes.
And rabbits
Yes.
at it?
I had, yeah. It sounded like they were chopping bodies up. It was horrendous. So,
Maybe they are.
Well,
have you met your neighbours?
No. I've met a few of them. Some are all right.
No, I've got to say, first time I've been to your house, and because we'd spoke about it in the last episode, we thought it'd be a good idea to record the new secret studio.
The new secret studio. The new secret noisy studio.
Yeah, I think we'll be going back to ours next time, won't we? In the middle of a wood.
It'll be fine. We'll be all right. They've got to do what they're doing. But anyway, I thought I'd mention it.
And have you recovered from? We talked in the last episode about you exchanging contracts and your frustrations. We in the end, did it all turn out nice and hunky dory?
It turned out all right. We're here. We're in. We're sorted. We've unpacked.
Yeah, but you're lying, aren't you? Because that's not the story you told me. You're just worried that someone might listen to this to do with the moving of your house.
Well, yeah. Well, not now, because when about 2 weeks after we moved in, we realised that the previous owners, had still got a set of keys, and he's dropped them back off now, so it doesn't matter.
Without coming in.
He
didn't open the door and say, "Oh, I've got your keys."
Hi. Yeah, so I was
that'd be a little bit worrying. I'd have had some more cuts.
Yeah. So
sleep well in your bed tonight.
Now you see, I'm going to be honest.
Yes.
You buy a house and you look round and it's through rose tinted glasses. It's beautiful, and and then when you move in, you see little bits that you think, I didn't notice that before, and I've not noticed that, and I'm going to tell you now, and then you're going to look around the living room and go, oh yeah. I think the man had a fetish for drilling holes. In every wall, there's about 20 or 30 holes. If you look down on the floor down there, just on the wall near the stairs, if you look, there's a hole.
And he's making me look as well.
I am making you look. There's a hole. Now,
oh yeah.
He's not really looked.
You didn't say that.
Why would you not look, Carl?
I'm trying to look.
He's down on the floor there. I'm pointing to it. Follow the end of my finger.
Yeah, but I can't see round corners.
It's just over there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got it now.
Yeah.
Why has he done that?
I have no idea.
I think you'll find that there was a wire came through that.
I don't know.
You haven't thought about that, have you? That's
No.
that's for a wire.
But for where? That's
don't know.
just the stairs.
Do you know what? That's what they've invented polyfiller for.
Well, that's it. I'm gonna have to buy my own body weight in polyfiller. Look at there's above my head. Look on the wall there. There's drill holes in the shape of a cross. Why would you do that?
What worries me, it's an upside down cross.
No, I know. I've had a dog come round that detects bodies. We're fine. We're all right. So,
You're gonna have an exorcism.
we're gonna just sort of clean slate the house and everything, so we're fine. So,
Oh, by the way,
yes,
because I know that anybody who's listened this far into this episode will be wondering. They'll be wondering, won't they?
I don't know because I'm wondering what you're gonna say next.
My tomatoes are coming on really well. Because I know we've got all different, and you know what? My plums are brilliant.
I'm gonna be honest. You've got shorts on. I weren't going to mention them. But,
No, I've got my plums are hanging really well.
Oh my god!
I've got we've got cherries. they're doing well, and we've got some. Get those. No, all the tomatoes are doing well. 35 plants worth. In fact, I've become a tomato farmer, as one of my friends called me last night.
Tomato farmer.
But they're not red yet.
No. Well, you see, when you were saying they were yellow, I know they start off yellow and the green yellow and then red.
No, the yellow ones. I put a picture on the Facebook of. The yellow ones stay yellow. I should prove that that's a thing. I know you didn't. You thought I was joking.
I still don't think. I just think they're not ripe.
No, that's not true. So it's a chemical reaction that they just stay yellow.
Right.
I didn't want to talk this long about tomatoes. I just wanted to make sure people who were worried, people who were worried about my tomatoes.
I'm guessing people are only tuning in to find out how your tomatoes are.
Well, we're going to have a bumper crop.
All right. Okay.
Especially my plums.
Why?
Because you make good soup with plums.
Why don't we, when they're ready, and if people want, why don't you have the chance to buy some of Carl's tomatoes?
Because I've got far too many.
I mean, the 35 tomatoes that you've got.
35 plants, not 35 tomatoes.
Okay. And how many did you get per plant then?
Probably about 100.
100 tomatoes. So you've got 3,500
tomatoes in my backyard.
We could feed Africa.
What, with my tomatoes?
Yeah.
No, I'd have to freeze them. Freeze my plums. So
I'm sorry. I'm going to apologise on behalf of Confessions of a Backseat for the last comment. Freeze your plums.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea as well.
It's. Do you know what? We've had some really nice feedback from some of the other episodes. People have spoken to me about The Simpsons. They like The Simpsons thing.
Yeah.
They like the way you witter on. Do you know what somebody said? This is what podcasts are for.
Really?
Yeah, I thought
the inane wittering of two.
So I can prove it. I can share it. Somebody actually went, "This is," and then because I've shared, I've done this sharing thing. You do sharing on social media, don't you?
Yeah.
And people seem to have given us some nice feedback. People don't seem to be leaving feedback on the actual Podbean site because we're learning about this, aren't we?
Yeah.
Do you know what I've been doing? I've been listening to a lot more podcasts.
Yeah, well, I listen to a few.
Just to find out what other people do, and I have got a little bit of a frustration with other people's podcasts,
which is
because we're only just starting out.
Yeah,
and we do ask for a little bit of leeway, a little bit of forgiveness. That we're finding our feet. We think we've got a really nice concept, and we've committed to doing this so that if you invest into it. The episodes will keep coming, and we will talk about. And
obviously,
some slightly
we'll get
amusing
better,
things.
and we'll be able to talk about different things and change what we do. And
we're thinking of getting some guests in as well. Other people who are on the road, like musicians, people like that, who have similar experiences to us, where they spend a lot of time on the road because you do a lot of thinking then, don't you? or you're chatting to your
Yeah.
band members.
Yeah.
So I've got a few people lined up for future episodes for things like that, where we can find out what their opinions are and how everything affects them.
Yeah, I was out with a few of my entertainment friends the other night, and we were talking about the podcast and what we do, and it was quite interesting because then everybody was going, well, what upsets me is this, or what upsets me is this. And
Well, it's a bit like Room 101, isn't it?
yeah.
It's turned into a little bit of that. And,
Yeah.
And this is the thing. It'd be quite nice if people did post to the photo on the Facebook or put some comments on Podbean for us, just so we can give us some direction and it'll give us things to talk about.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
in listening to all these other podcasts, some are brilliant. I mean, in fact, most are brilliant. I think I've not listened to many where I've turned them off. And I've gone to quite varied things, not just comedy ones, like storytelling ones, news ones, so conspiracy ones, all that sort of stuff, just for general different. But when they're established, and obviously this is a route that a lot of people take, they get sponsors.
Yeah.
And they've obviously got advertising within what they do.
Well, we can advertise anything. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get paid for it.
It doesn't.
Is there anything you're liking at the moment? Do you want to advertise your compost for your tomatoes?
Absolutely. But the thing that I find quite funny, it's slightly annoying, is especially some of the American podcasts.
Yeah.
They'll be talking like we're talking, reading a story out, and then literally stop in the middle and say, "This morning I really enjoyed going to the toilet because I loved my wipe away toilet paper." And anyway,
Is that an advert or is that just an overshare?
That was it was a bit of an overshare. Do you not use wipe away?
No.
Actually,
no.
we use wipe away deluxe.
Do you?
Yeah.
I've heard of like one wipe Charlies and all that sort of thing.
One wipe Charlie.
A one wipe Charlie. Yeah.
We're getting onto toilet paper now, aren't we?
Oh God.
And I've got to say, unless it's Ansel, it doesn't really annoy me.
Unless it's what?
That stuff where it just spreads it.
Oh, you mean like
No,
the
it's like
tracing
grease.
paper?
It's like the stuff they had at school.
Oh, the one that would slide right up your back.
That's the one.
Oh God, yeah.
We don't use that.
No, well, you see, that's the thing nowadays. The kids probably won't use that. It's all 2-ply and velveted, isn't it, at school?
But having these adverts in the middle of something that you may be getting quite interested in, and then all of a sudden,
Well, I'd like to stop you there, Cole, because we've got a word from our sponsor.
Okay.
We don't have any sponsors at the moment. If you want to sponsor the podcast, that'd be quite nice. We can.
I do feel like we've been talking a while now, so I'm just going to have a little drink of my orange Lucozade.
Well, while you do that, Carl, I shall just do the intro because we've waffled on a little bit. So I will do the intro. Welcome everybody to the latest edition of Confessions from the Back Seat.
Is this the introduction? We've been talking for over half an hour.
I know. But we're going to let them know what they're listening to, Carl.
I think you did say that right at the beginning.
I didn't.
Did you not?
No, we just waffled on and you told me a short story about the Grand Prix.
It was a long story. It's getting on my nerves. But I've got an observation to make.
Oh, right.
Because in the first talk, we've got a very talented person in the room with us, haven't we?
Well, that's very nice of you to say, Carl. But, I'm just a regular magician like everybody else.
Well, I refer to us as the talent.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then we've got a talented sound engineer.
Right, okay. Yeah, we've got young Christian.
University student.
Right.
And he's waving at me at the moment. And he does all the little introduction, those piano chords you've heard on the first couple of episodes.
Yes.
And he makes sure, and he cut a lot out of the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So he does all the editing. I've noticed something. In the first 2 episodes, he didn't laugh once. And he sat there actually grinning away. So he's either laughing at what we're saying or what's on his phone.
I'm going to be honest.
Sure.
Because you're his father, I'm not going to tell you what's on his phone.
Can you see?
I can see what's on his phone.
It's, I know, watching porn in front of your dad, that's shocking.
Well,
It doesn't. Do you know what's funny is because he doesn't want to be heard, so he's purposely just gesticulating, which is that's okay.
well.
So are we into this now? I think we're into episode
so.
whatever. I don't know where we're up to.
Yeah.
But we did talk about something else and what I've tried to do for this is just a little bit of a knock on from the other episodes.
Yeah.
Because you didn't quite get the concept of what wound me up about where I couldn't get people to play with me.
Yeah, what? Shall we rephrase it, Carl? Because I mean, there were that time when we were talking about the games.
Yeah, board games.
Board game. Now, not that I can't understand why people don't want to play it. It's the time and effort that you've got to put into it.
Yeah.
To make something enjoyable.
Yeah.
For a game, for me, it's something you can pick up quickly.
Yeah.
Everybody can play. You don't have to do 2 hours worth of solid research to understand.
2 hours?
Just 2 hours, yeah. Is that an easy one? So it wasn't so much that I can't understand why people don't want to play. It was I can't understand why you have to put that much time and effort in to do something enjoyable, if that makes sense.
Well, what I've done, I've brought along an entry-level game.
You brought one, have you?
I've brought an entry-level game. And all I want to do is, so that the listeners can understand what you go through, is explain to you the rules and see if you understand them. And it's a bit of a geeky game.
Okay.
It's called Welcome to the Dungeon.
Oh my word! Right.
Have you got one of those?
A dungeon?
Yeah.
Not at the moment.
And it's got fantasy characters in it.
Right.
And monsters.
Right.
And just so you know, I do play this with my 8-year-old.
Okay.
So you should be able to pick this up.
So I should be able to pick it up
very, very quickly.
Relatively quickly.
All I'm going to do is explain the rules.
Okay.
And what's in the box.
Right.
So it's only a very small box. Yeah, and we said that we might do this on some of the games. And I've got to say, it's one of my favourite pick-up-and-play games.
Okay.
And what I mean by pick-up-and-play is the rule. That's the rule book. So it's not 2.5 hours of reading.
No, it's like a little pamphlet.
It's something that's quite simple. So you play. So if you can play with 2, 3, 4, 5 people when you play this game.
Yeah.
And you're all one character.
Right, okay.
There you go. So you get that. So you're not each a character. You're all one character.
Oh, right. You're all the same character.
Yeah. Now you're freaked out already, aren't you?
So how do you have a winner if you're all the same character then?
Because you have... It's whether or not you're going to take control of that character to go into the dungeon. And you have to play a little game of dare between yourselves, or a game of chicken.
Right.
And every character has different abilities and different points and so basically you can so one of the characters, he can defeat monsters with a strength less than 3.
Well, hang on, I'm confused already.
I don't want to confuse you. It's easy. Look, it's easy. Play the game.
Stop. So hang on. So you've just said there's one character. You all play as one character, and then you said.
But in the box is 5 characters, so we can choose which character.
Oh right,
we can
so
all be.
we've got to choose one character between us before we start.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
But
so
we always pick the same one to start because it's the easy one when people have not been playing before.
Right. Okay.
And so it's also a bit frustrating when you've played the game about 3,000 times and someone doesn't even understand what a hit point is.
Right.
Or a health point.
Well, I'm guessing the hit point is what you do, is the damage that you do to the...
Oh, you've got it. Damage.
Yeah.
You've used the right word. Damage in the dungeon.
Oh, my God. If you've got damage in the dungeon, any of the topics we've discussed today affect you, there'll be a phone number at the end.
Yeah. 0898. This character the Holy Grail as well, so it can defeat monsters with even numbered strength.
Right, okay.
Yeah, this is the warrior, by the way. I'm describing the warrior.
The warrior.
Yeah, and he starts off with 3 points.
Okay.
Yeah, so this all gets lined out in front of you.
Well, let's just go through the characters quickly then. So who have we got? We've got the warrior.
Yeah, we've got a barbarian. We've got a mage.
A mage.
So he's like a magician-y type person, isn't he,
Yeah.
really? There's a green one. Can't find
Is that the Hulk?
You've asked me a question here, haven't you, before I've laid everything out. So there's different
What
characters.
he's doing at the moment is actually rooting through the box, and I've just seen how many little individual pieces there are. There's thousands of them.
There's one called Rogue.
There's right, okay.
She's a woman. She's in like sort of moulded armour around a body. They always do the artwork like that. I don't know why. I think it's just to get teenage lads to play.
Right, okay. and dads.
And dads. Yeah, I suppose so. So you pick your character, you've got this thing, and then you have a load of monster cards.
Okay.
Right. And so it starts off, there's no... you're going to play a little game of chicken, so that because one of you is going to have to go into the dungeon and fight the monsters in the dungeon.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So all you have to do is you take it in turns of picking up a card, which will have a monster on it. Some monsters are bigger than other monsters.
Yeah.
And you decide.
Not all monsters are the same, Colin.
Oh, all monsters are not the same.
No.
Some of you have dragons. Or others. Because I've not got the cards out. Should have set this up first, shouldn't I, really?
I think you should. You surprised me with it. You got this little box out, and then you're like...
Well, I didn't want to tell you everything I was going to do.
Right.
So, basically, when you pick a card up, you've got a choice.
Okay.
You have to make choices.
Yeah.
And the choice is, you either put that monster into the dungeon...
Okay.
Which means that someone or yourself might have to fight it later on.
Okay.
So, or... You keep it and don't put it in the dungeon, but if you do that, you've got to take away one of the character's abilities, so it weakens the character.
Right.
So what you do, it's a tactical game, but you can drop out at any time. Yeah, and then you say, I'm not going to go in the dungeon. And then whoever's left at the end has to go, when one person's left, they have to go in the dungeon. And you work out what the strength of the character is.
Yeah.
And then you turn over the monsters that are in the dungeon. And if you end up getting to the end of the dungeon by killing them all, by having the right number of points,
yeah,
you're a winner.
So you have to play a game before you can play the game?
You play the game, and then you go into the dungeon.
Right.
To see if you win or not. It's a really quick game.
So...
The artwork's really nice.
You're trying to sell this to me now, aren't you? Now... So basically, if I put all the monsters in and then went, I'm not going to play now.
A lot of people do that.
I could just make it as difficult as possible for you at the end.
Yeah, and you've got to either get through 2 dungeons.
Right.
Or not get... If you get killed twice, you're out of the game.
Yeah.
So that's basically... So you win by winning getting through 2 dungeons or being the last one left in the game. So you could just chicken out every time and win. But that's not a fun way of playing. I'm not selling it, am I?
Alright, so you if you back out, you can actually win the game.
Yeah.
So you're not out of the game altogether.
Because you've played chicken, you just back out, because there's only one person ever going to go in the dungeon at any time with that character that you've made weaker.
Right.
And it's fun, and 8-year-olds love it.
Yeah.
You look thrilled. I don't think we'll be playing this, will we?
I still a little confused, but yeah, I mean...
You just want to look at the pictures, don't you? There's like ogres and everything, and dragons. Don't know what he is.
That's a dragon, isn't it?
No, he's a dragon that can walk. I don't know, he doesn't fly.
Is a dragon that can walk?
What's he? Don't know what he is.
I don't know, I can't really see.
He's like a skeleton in armour.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'd recommend this game. It's really good fun. But I think I've managed to confuse Andy. Knowing my downtime, this is how I have my downtime.
Yeah.
By absolutely learning inane games that no one will ever play with me.
I tend to sit in the garden and drink a beer.
You can't. I've got to say, you can't drink beer and play Welcome to the Dungeon.
Does that hinder one of my health points?
With your 8-year-old and her friends. Do you know?
Yeah, no, I.
Well, you wanted to have an idea.
Yeah, and what we'll do is when we've finished this, we'll have a game of it. How long does it take?
About 5 minutes.
Right, we'll have a game of it, and then maybe in the next podcast I'll do a review of it and try to be nice.
You're not going to be nice at all, are you? Should we make Christian play with us as well?
Yeah, I think we should.
It's a lot more fun with 3.
Oh, I can imagine. It's it's going to sound amazing. Right, well, thanks for listening for this week. Look forward to the next episode when I'll be reviewing the game that Carl and I will be playing. We'll have more things that have upset us and things that we found interesting and funny through the week. And don't forget to like, share, and find us on all the social medias and Podbean. Thank you ever so much.